I could definitely do some yoga poses with this book on my head. This book is the Yoga Toolbox for students and teachers. In this video, I am going to show you how to properly use this resource. And if you are in the Mastermind Yoga Teacher Training courses, then you will definitely need to know this because this is a required reading in our trainings. Any trainings that involve asana, we do require this. Okay, so this is written by Joseph and Lillian Lepage, and they've been teaching for a very long time. When I first discovered this book, I was in my advanced yoga teacher training, at least the first one I've taken, depending on what time you're watching this video. And I noticed that one of my classmates was flipping through, going through the different things, pulling things out, and I was curious about it, so I asked her, and then I actually ended up getting this for Christmas, like that same year. So this is a really great resource. I'm very happy to have it, and every time I open it, I think about my sister, and she's the one who gave it to me. So this book is really, really great to use and very special. So when you first open it, it's like a binder. It has the rings here, and this is the table of contents. So the strategy for using this book can look a couple different ways. You can, of course, go through it, start by reading pages 1 through 8. I would highly recommend you start there. And then when you're using it, you can flip through the other ways and go page by page, or you can use this contents of poses and go straight to a particular pose. So what we're gonna do is just highlight some of the things that they cover. So they talk about different systems in the body, energetic and physical. And then they also talk about the 8 limbs of yoga. They have some different categorizations. They label things like warm up, standing, stabilization, hip openers. So it's really specific on how to use these poses, and it gives you a ton of useful things, including modifications. So I'm going to pull one up. So this one is pretty simple. It's mountain pose. And mountain pose is essentially the main pose after seated. So after being seated in asana, like asana is translated as to sit or to be in, and you go into other poses, like mountain pose is one of the key poses in yoga that many poses are based off of. So when we talk about mountain pose, we look at, on this sheet, the English and the Sanskrit, as well as the breakdown of what the Sanskrit means. Then it talks about some of the different things in the corners, as well as the symbolism of the asana. And these all pages are structured the same. Then we have the systems on the inside, the energies. So that's where you get a lot of information on that aspect, including Ayurveda. So if you're interested in Ayurveda, this is also a great resource for that. Then we have modifications and variations. So you can be studying the pose and also know the modifications. To me, modifications are so important because those days when I was first dealing with lupus and I felt really strong, I did all of the poses that I wanted to, anything that came to my mind. On the days when I had inflammation and pain and I didn't feel good, then I would do a lot of modifications. Now in my journey, I modify like all the time, and I am really excited when newer teachers really dive into learning modifications. And so that's something that I focus on, and that's something that all of our trainers, our 2 anatomy teachers, really focus on in the 200 hour especially. And then in advanced anatomy, it is something that you cover as well. On the back of the sheets, you will see the teaching points. what I like about this is that even if you do not know how to teach it, or let's say you're a student and you're not familiar, you might find a different pose, or maybe you didn't know how to do the pose properly and in alignment, then you can go back into this space and read the specific things. And this is physical and non-physical teaching points. And so it's a very valuable resource, especially for new teachers and for advanced teachers. It's something that I still use as a reference, especially when I'm teaching. And because there's a binder section, you can actually take things out. So like, for example, in the teacher training, when we're working on a particular sequence, let's say sun salutation, I will take the pages out that are just in that sequence, and that will just make it a quick reference between each of the pages, which is great for our group discussions that we have, any questions that come up during the training. All right, so once you are in the training, or once you start a training, or if you've already completed a training, this is a great resource to have. If you have any questions, or you want to know more about any of the things that I talked about today, including the teacher training, including the trainer team, whatever questions come to your mind, please put down in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. And if this video was useful to you, please put a thumbs up on the video. If you want to learn more about being a yoga teacher, navigating the yoga industry and the yoga world, then subscribe to this channel, because that's what we do here together. I am fueled by the mission to spread world peace through inner peace, and just by you being here, you've already done that. If you're watching the YouTube videos for credits, you have an assignment to get your book and to go through it and write down what your reflection is on this book. How has this book impacted you? How has it been useful for you? And why would you recommend it to someone else? So you'll write one page double spaced, and I will see you in the next video. Black yogis matter. We are changing the world one shirt at a time. Be a part of the movement, a part of the revolution, and get your shirt in the description below.